All right, so today, to deepen with ourselves, we're going to do this thing that I hope you'll just give me a minute to explain and don't react too quickly. We're going to make ourselves cry. And right away, I had to give the disclaimer because I know that people have a lot of negative feelings about making themselves cry, and they're thinking oh my God, this is going to be depressing. What the heck would I do that for? I don't know how to make myself cry. I don't want to do that. It's going to make my whole day bad. It does not have to be like that. That is not the goal here. We can talk about, kind of purging negative feelings. That's part of it, maybe. But really, making yourself cry doesn't have to be that sort of depressing negative thing. It could be inspiring. It could be, what are you touched by? What is sweet and tender? Think of something that, made you cry that was more like in that overwhelmed, touched, inspired category. Like some commercial that really had you feeling emotional or made you have tears in your eyes that was, kind of a joy or overwhelm or beautiful kind of feeling. Whatever, like the daughter and the dad are saying something, or maybe it's like some sort of grand human feat that you saw, like an Olympic race, or maybe it was something that had something to do with how we're all in this together. Maybe it was a TV show where somebody else was going through something that you've gone through and that makes you cry. Or maybe it's just, thinking of something like landing on the moon, or we're all in this together, or we're working so hard, or, we're unified, we're a team or something in the human race. So whatever types of things make you cry don't have to be negative things. You see? You see? I mean, it took me reminding you that it could be something else besides sadness and despair, but it's in there. There's that. And I want you to play with that, because when you find the places, the access points that your spirit can be touched by, those are important deepening tools, So when you find things that can touch you, and you think about, oh, what makes me cry in that sweet, tender-hearted, I feel touched, everything is beautiful kind of way, what are those things? What are those access points? And aren't those important to know about myself, to know about the sweetest parts of myself? And also, the sad crying. I'm not trying to toss that out like it doesn't exist, and I'm also not trying to vilify it. There is sad crying, the kind that is, depressed or whatever. It doesn't have to go that far into an actual depression, especially if you're purging it. So also, after you've played with some of the inspirational making yourself cry and thinking of all the things that have made you cry recently and trying to bring them back up and seeing if you can get into a soft and vulnerable enough place, a willing enough place to let them bring tears to your eyes again when you replay them in your mind, then go into the sad stuff. Go into the stuff that's more, that you want to avoid or that you feel like is more rough. What makes you cry? What makes you cry in the emotional realm, not the inspirational realm, but what makes you feel like crying for real? How can you make yourself cry? Is it, something that has to do with a past injury or trauma, or does it have to do with current feelings? Is it, and then dig, because the thing is, we wouldn't be drudging it up just for the fun of it, right? I mean, we're doing it to purge it, because there is some fun in it. It's a lightness, that lightness that you feel after you've had a good cry and you've purged it. I mean, that's the fun, so to speak, in it that we're looking for. And so in order to do that, you've got to really purge it and flush it and get it out. And so how do you do that? You have to ask the questions and really get into the details and the root of it, so you can grab it by the root and flush it out. So, what is the feeling? And it doesn't have to get too much into the who did what and the other people this. Don't think about those parts. Although those parts might be the parts that make you cry too, ask yourself the questions, because the root is in you, you know? So like, what am I really feeling? Was it like desperation? Was it powerlessness? Is it lonely? Is it a feeling of exasperation because I'm discontent with where things have led in my life? Or, you know, when I think of this, it was a betrayal, or I feel frustrated. I feel at my wit's end, or I feel, you know, totally disappointed in myself or in other people, or I feel, you know, like confused and the wool's pulled over my eye. I feel deceived or something like that. You know, scroll through all the feelings, or just pure anger maybe, you know, because I'm so frustrated, because I keep trying this thing and I'm so defeated because nothing is working, and I'm so angry that just like tears are pouring out of my eyes in defeat. Okay, you know, what is in there? What are the things when you think of the stuff that makes you cry? What are the things behind it? What are the real things that get you going? Any of those words even could make you cry. I know, like, the word defeat kind of makes me feel, you know, and so it's an access point. Like, that's a word for me. That's an important, powerful word for me. And that's something that, you know, lets me know. It deepens me with myself. It lets me know something about me that needs to be discovered and rooted out and flushed, or, you know, just tapped into. Maybe it's just a tender spot and I need to kind of know it. So this is what we're doing. We're doing both. If you are willing, let's do both. Let's do the inspiration type, and then let's do the flushing type, where we're really actually dealing with the real yuck. And, you know, but don't let it be yuck. Don't come at it with that mentality. Open yourself to it. Allow it to happen. Realize that deepening is happening every time you do this. You're getting to know you. There's so much richness available, and, you know, it'll lighten you. Like I said, it'll lighten you, even just in increasing your knowing about yourself. That's already lightening.